welcome to another edition of XFeed. What's up? My name's The Schiller, talking about NFTs, crypto, Web3, all that kind of fun jazz for quite some time. And we just reflect on the market, and the market is marketing. The timeline filled, of course, with just angst, generally negative views. We're going to go over a lot of ridiculous things as per usual, because it seems like that's just what we have in the space every single freaking day. Also, I cut my mustache and I feel like I'm an X-Men or something right now. Like I feel like the bad guy Sabretooth. Have you ever seen that? What an absolute wild look. Anyway, let's get into some of the conversation. So I saw this post from Shadow saying, I'm ready for TikTok 2.0, but not the application, a meme coin. Chill Guy, Moodeng, and others had their time. Let the new wave hit 500 mil too. Okay, so I don't exactly know what they're talking about, right? I don't exactly know what they're talking about, but I thought, let's go back and look at some of these tokens that really took over the timeline. Now, Moodeng was this coin made off of like the baby hippo from a zoo. If we go to the all-time chart, obviously it started at nothing, went all the way up to 61 cents. Now it's back down to 60 cents. It's up all-time like 80,000%, which is crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But it's had its moments, and you can see major spikes, and then it completely fallen off. And I'm just like, I don't know how that rekindles for that specific meme. And then over on the Chill Guy thing, I've never seen more businesses use that meme across all of their socials. But again, this is down 91%. Again, it got some traction at a point. It seemed like all of it was at the beginning. Moodeng chart looks, I guess, a little bit better than what this is. But again, how does the Chill Guy that was so popular at one point get that notion back? And I don't know where it happens. But also, you can look at these things and 32 million market cap. That's pretty high. And so when you see these wide market flush outs, and if you haven't checked the charts today, well, Bitcoin's below 90,000. So spoiler alert. But we've seen massive cascades downwards across the space. Now, this is because Bybit, maybe? Is this something beyond that? The concern of the tariffs? There's a lot of different rationales for it and reasons. But it's, I don't know. We still have random memes that are worth $32 million market caps plus. Yo, Roar, what's going on? All right, Orange Cap Games. If you guys have seen the Vibes TCG, here's a quick video from them about it. This is a card game based off the Pudgy Penguin IP.
When I came across Pudgy Penguins as an IP, I thought there was really something special there. I've been a long-time trading card collector, and I came to the Pudgy team and said, hey, what you guys are doing with IP is strong, it's powerful, it's new, it's exciting, but to take it a step further, trading card would be the perfect product. And they came back and said, well, there's a lot of complexities, a lot of difficulties with doing this. We're not as trading card natives. And that was kind of how Orange Cap Games began, was thinking, maybe we could do it for them. What if we took on this challenge of harnessing their IP and bringing it to the next level? But what could we do with the Pudgy IP that opens this genre, which is the best genre of game, up to more people, up to an audience that doesn't already do it? And so when we designed Vibes, we really started with a few principles. The first of which was we wanted to be really easy to learn.
One of the most important things that we decided early on for this game was we decided, well, trading card games are often filled with spells and attacks and traps. What if we could get rid of all of it?
Instead of killing and going to the graveyard, penguins go to the ice. Instead of battling and fighting and dealing damage, penguins vibe.
I think the biggest thing for me was to translate the cuteness of Pudgy Penguin, which is such a great IP already for that, and create still images that kind of show these penguins in an environment that each tell a story. Some of the details that were important to me to include in this project were little references to things that exist outside of the Pudgy world. It's fun for viewers to kind of engage with, right? You might get some references here, you might not, but there's something for everyone there, and I think that was a really important part to me about how to get these cards to feel approachable and relatable.
And we got a big table and we recruited 40, 50 different people from all walks of life, people who had never played games before. And this was something that people loved. This was something that aligned with a whole group of players that never knew that this was a game that could ever be for them.
The first ever sketch signed by Claire with a doodle.
That's when I think the reality of the situation set in for us, and we had this moment of like, oh my gosh, like this could be huge.
Yo, it could be huge, and it ended up being huge. Yo, Frost, what's going on? How are we doing? Yo, Roar, I gotta say something. This is the best stream for recaps and comments about what's happening in Web3 and fast, and gives good insight. Thanks for doing the stream, Schiller. The best international Web3 stream. Yo, that's crazy. Yo, I appreciate you. That's crazy, Roar. It's crazy. So there we go. There's a recap for Orange Cap Games. If you haven't seen it, again, they're doing the vibes. We have interviewed from, yo, Matty V, what's going on? We've interviewed the team from Vibes before on the RWA Segments podcast. So again, if you're watching on YouTube, if you check the description below and scroll through all of the different episodes we have on there, would love for you to check that out. Now, I saw this on the timeline. Have you ever ordered a croissant that's a chocolate croissant and there's no chocolate in it? I feel the pain from back here. Thought I would share that with you. So, Discussing Film, which is a huge outlet, says James Cameron says the Avatar Fire and Ash will begin with a title card that says no generative AI was used in the making of this movie. So this is a thought that we have to have, because within the space, I feel like for most people that are in crypto, we're kind of open to AI. We say, you know what, this is interesting. We like it. Obviously, we like people too, which is a weird thought to begin with. But what does this mean for the movies and everything else moving forward? Now, there was a post in here that I saved, and this is from Simon FX saying, man, AI is going to ruin a lot of movies, even when they haven't used AI. The fact that they need to make the disclaimer says a lot about the disdain the general public have with AI use in movies. And this is a genuine question. If you talk to people that aren't within crypto, do you think they have a negative connotation to AI? Do they not like those videos? I, as an example, am a fan of various movies, right? Let's use Lord of the Rings as an example. And we've seen these videos start coming up of like The Hunt for Gollum, which is a new movie that's supposed to come out. And people have created these like fan fiction versions of the trailer when it's all AI generated. It looks shockingly close, even though some of it's using clips of the previous movies, and you can kind of tell that. But it's like, is this bad? Does it add something? Does it give you extra content? Do you care? If it only looks good, these are all the things. AI is sick, lol. Humans will always have their place. AI will script write, animate, etc. Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. It's just something that I feel like I've come to accept to, but it is weird to see these sort of backlashes to things in kind of a very big public setting. So Quinn had a hilarious post the other day, and it's not really funny because it actually came to fruition, but somebody just wrapped these two CryptoPunks, wheat them for underfloor, swapped to stables, bridged to Hyperliquid, and full stack shorted Bitcoin on 3.5x leverage. Absolutely paid out. What a trade. Oh my God. Now, I don't know how many people feel that confident to wheat two punks, but there we go. And speaking of punks, over on the XRP ledger, $49,000 for an X punks with a crown. Listen, the X marks the spot thing for the mouth. It just gives me like Misfits U PTSD. Maybe that's just me. Rich the Kid promoted a scam coin, deleted the post, and claimed to have been hacked, all within an hour. The playbook right now for meme coins, if you haven't seen, that's basically what it is. Just in, SEC ends investigation into NFT marketplace OpenSea. Now, we brought this up yesterday because obviously this was news, I think from Friday, but still this is huge. Nobody's really talking about this. We also yesterday went over how people from CyberKongs were saying, whoa, we're giving OpenSea their flowers, but they outed people at CyberKongs, gave away personal information and all this stuff. So we got to hold your horses. But again, a lot of positive announcements are coming out about the SEC dropping various charges. Now, when you go into something, you have expectations. Expectations, reality, when those things, don't meet, we got problem. We got the FUD, a little bit of FUD. The final 2 minutes of the Pistons versus Hawks game in the NBA just took 21 minutes and 52 seconds of real time to complete. I believe that's a record for the season thus far. NBA's got a decent product, but this kind of stuff is just unbelievable. How the hell is 2 minutes of a game taking 21 minutes? I remember I went to a Raptors game back in the day. I think it was against the Chicago Bulls. Missed the GO train or had to leave early because of the shenanigans. Not a fan. Let's get rid of it. Way too much money is in Pokemon right now. Okay. Let's see. So a Scarlet and Violet base set illustration rare is going for $501. So you've seen people fighting in Costco, different places to get product for Pokemon. They have vending machines around the world where it opens up, people sit there, buy everything, while everybody in the line behind them doesn't get anything. Stores completely drained of product. And we have no idea what the supply is. So there's all this crazy potential fake demand that's created, potentially, right? Where maybe Pokemon's not distributing, maybe the scalpers are just that aggressive, but we still don't know how much they're printing. And this was something early on, which in my head, I was like, okay, NBA Top Shot, this is justifiable because they say how many moments are created from everything. The scarcity of knowing is really cool. Now, I don't think Pokemon's ever going to go into that realm because why in the hell would they? They have such a focus and such an opportunity with what they have, and people really love the Pokemon brand. But it's just something when I think of blockchain and the transparency, people that are buying these, putting insane amounts of money into it, don't know. That illustration rare, they could just go out and print like 50 billion of them. Who would know? But somebody's buying them for $500 right now. I don't know what's going on. We got problems. League of Legends. They had their final tournament for like this North American change. They're trying to do things because like the league's dying. They had the lowest viewership in a while. 166,000 for the final. And we were told that esports was going to be bigger than traditional sports. But the problem is traditional sports always finds a way to continue to be relevant. Everybody likes it. But with video games, for whatever reason, with changes, the demographics, all of that, it doesn't age well. It doesn't age well. We think that it will, and there's certain components of it that are really good. But for leagues that aren't top of the line, I don't know. It's weird. This Pokemon thing's crazy. League of Legends is saying goodbye. We need more MOBA and in crypto. Well, it's funny, too, because League of Legends itself is also really, really heavily pushed for having no more free content in a way. So, like, all their in-game skins and whatnot, they're starting to charge, like, upwards of $500 and trying to, I guess, cater to the whales, for lack of a better term, but also just having things where people pay. But obviously, it's a free game, so we have this back and forth. Where, I mean, Marvel Rivals, which is a huge game right now, there's a huge debacle on the timeline of people saying, is $22 too expensive for a video game skin in a free game? And like 90% of people said yes. So it goes back to crypto and gaming. We need to change the entire way that it operates. Latest crypto payments firm Infini? Yeah, Infini loses $50 million in USDC to an exploit. Suspected rogue developer retained admin access after project delivery. We brought this up before, if you remember. Somebody was doing a job interview, and the person who was the interviewee, you could tell that the imagery was a little shaky, a little mystical, a little something going on. And they were using a program to AI alter their face. And this is a huge risk. This is a huge risk for everybody that's building right now. And I'd love to know, it's probably never going to be transparent in that extent, but do teams have a hiring practice to be able to suss bad actors out? That is a question. Speaking of bad actors, Tali. Right on cue, my man. Do you think we will go much lower? Harmony P, will we go much lower? So these are the questions, and I was watching Bill Noble's stream before jumping on here because he had a bunch of really interesting takes. And he's like, well, how did Michael Saylor buy, $2 billion of Bitcoin or whatever it was? How did all these coins go crashing? Solana? Well, for Bybit, they had to sell what they had because they lost all their ETH. So what if Bybit had pretty much all of their holdings that were left in Solana? So they had to liquidate that to bring back up everything else that they got. For Bitcoin, if they had to liquidate a bunch of big players, you call up Michael Saylor, say, hey, we got people got to liquidate. You want to buy some Bitcoin? And they're like, hell yeah. So I don't know. The fear and greed index is insane. We looked at this not that long ago, like 2 weeks back. This was like in the green. 2 weeks later, it's fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Yo, Buffalo Space, what's going on? So I think we're just hovering. Now, obviously, I don't leverage trade or anything, but it's absurd. It's absurd how much we've had in a little bit, and it feels like, okay, we're down what? 4%? Get it. So Bill Noble here, right on time, reacting to the SEC investigation with Robinhood being dropped. Says people think crypto needs regulatory clarity. Well, I mean, I thought we did. They don't realize the SEC not suing everybody is regulatory clarity. People don't see this, but they eventually will. So it's a little bit changing up your perspective, right? When it's like, okay, what's regulatory clarity? Oh, okay, cool. We're just not going to get sued. So have fun. Nice. Yo, Gary Doe's, you beauty. What's going on? Makes sense to me. Bybit needs to buy it back cheap. So again, is this all based off of the fallout from Bybit, or is there something more to, again, the tariff conversation? There's a whole bunch of things around what's going on within the Ukraine. I mean, I don't really know what to look at. I'm not I'm not an expert by any means, but there's a lot of massive events that could have resolutions, that could not, that could have negative impact no matter what sector you're in. Are people scared of things? And so there's mass selling on top of this huge exchange that just the timing happens. And we got some really like lukewarm, kind of stupid takes that we're going to get to very shortly. That I'm just not a fan of. We're also over on Abstract. If you guys are checking that out, we're on Abstract. You know, look at what a fish. What a fish. I'm stacking my eggs in the basket. It's discount time. Hell yeah. Justin, $377 billion German asset manager Deca Bank launches crypto trading and custody services for institutional clients. I just find it funny that every day you can jump on the timeline and there's something positive coming out regarding banks and crypto. The Mystery Society, we've had a lot of negative news around crypto gaming. Here is another one. We are very sad to announce the Mysterious Society, unfortunately, will be suspending development. We built an S-tier team, shipped and live operated an actually fun game with promising metrics, and built a passionate community, but unfortunately, the state of Web3 gaming is just too challenged right now, and despite all our efforts, we have been unable to secure the funds to keep building. So here's my question for you. Do you recall when Yuga Labs was selling off and acquiring different IPs and people building in the space? When we look over at the Edison platform that was building up Metaverse that put their closure notice yesterday, or maybe it was the day before, but we read it yesterday. Is there nobody that's looking to acquire things like, so if this was right, and it said, what in it? An actual fun game with promising metrics. If you're somebody out there, I feel like there's teams that have money and are willing to do certain things if you have a good product. Buffalo Space, Dookie Dash, dead now too. I mean, they're giving out a whole bunch of money, so I think they got a decent amount of players. I think one thing that's interesting within Web3 gaming that's been completely forgotten about and really isn't talked much, unless you're in those circles, is that for Axie Infinity, there used to be entire leagues of people that were hired out to be like teams of Axie players, right? Because obviously in certain countries, playing Axie or having these games was actually like, it paid you more than having a job in certain countries. And that was awesome. But then that notion kind of just stopped. But I think it's still very much the case, whether it be through the rewards from Dookie Dash, whether it be, a whole bunch of games on Ronin doing various things. Anytime there's free mints, you'll see that there's a lot of people that are out there trying to vie for positions for it, because some of these, if they end up hitting, is a huge deal to a lot of people. And it seems like that's just completely forgotten about, not discussed for whatever reason. But back to the point, I'm just surprised that nobody's picking up these characters. So what's interesting about the announcement we brought up a second ago from the Deca Bank is it's happening on Ripple custody. Now, what have we brought up about Ripple custody before? Well, the auto blockchain. There's 5 people in the world talking about it. I'm one of them. We've interviewed Jeff McDonald, the founder of it, and I'm just going to give you the nudge. There's some free tokens to be earned right now. They're doing a governance vote that it didn't work before. They had to redo it, and there's like 1 million auto that's up for grabs, which is a decent bag of Catalyst. If you're looking for something in that, again, I will just bring this up right here. And again, this is free, but you check out Auto Blockchain. Again, 2,000 followers, 5 people in the world talking about it. Hello, I'm one of them. connected with Ripple Custody. We're seeing institutional banks partner with Ripple Custody. Worth 5 seconds to take a look at the site. Just throwing that one out there. All right, Los Angeles Lakers X One Piece. I love when we have collabs of things that people love. The anime series One Piece and the basketball team of the Los Angeles Lakers. Love it. We're going to see way more of this sort of thing. Just a coincidence that an SBF coin ran 5x in 10 minutes leading up to this tweet, or coming from Cyrus. It's crime season, baby. So randomly, again, everybody's like, SBF's in jail. What's going on? Posts out this thread saying, I have a lot of sympathy for government employees. I, too, have not checked my email for the past few hundred days, and I confirm that being unemployed is a lot less relaxing than it looks. So there's a thread for this, and it's just wild that this is the case, but also sort of strange that the token goes running right before the tweets go out. Harmony, Lazarus, 600 million bridge hack, wrecked Axie, same group that hacked Bybit for 1.4 million. Yes, thank you so much for bringing that up. So that's another good point. And maybe that was one of the reasons, well, I'm trying to think of it because there was a lot of talk about people really like doing the play to earn. I guess I should say that play to earn as a whole, right? Heavy metal from Yuga, that was huge at the time. People were paying upwards of $1,000 a day to try to get into that like top 50. If you had a heavy metal, you could like talk in these side chats and get paid for giving votes of a thing that you were playing anyway, and you weren't going to get like it was a crazy system. But Axie Infinity, a little bit different with the way their operation was. But yes, that hack was massive. And apparently that 1.4 billion is like on the scale of like any massive what's the money heist in like world history, which is insane. And speaking of that exact amount, 1.4 billion liquidated from the cryptocurrency market in the past 24 hours. So people are massively leveraged. We just had a huge wipeout of an exchange that is now having to sell other currencies to re-get their position into one where the hackers from Lazarus are dumping 1.4 billion into the market, trying to go into all these different ecosystems. On Bill Noble's stream, he brought up a tweet where they were swapping ETH to Bitcoin on Thorchain and then swapping ETH to DAI on, oh my God, it was like OKX or something, I believe. But it all, like, when you're able to put the pieces of the puzzle together, you're like, okay, this kind of makes sense. It's crappy. It sucks that it's happening. But if you can say, all right, these are all kind of noted. We have all of these charges drop. We have clear waters for the most part. We're going to get into some of those like kind of hot takes in a second, which a lot of people will have probably strong opinions on. But we'll see. And then Bo here from the Pudgy Penguin security team. Wait, the EU has literally made it illegal to send more than 1,000 euros to anyone other than yourself? Absolute tyranny. Woo! This is going to be interesting to watch over the next little bit. How are things restricted geographically? That's the question. We brought it up earlier. Fear and greed index falls to 25. Extreme fear. I don't know. People say buy the fear. We're just going to chill. Okay, so here's the take. Here's the take we saw. So Eric Trump, who's obviously one of the sons of Donald, says buy the dip. And then Anthony Pompliano says the president's son is tweeting to buy the dip and you are bearish. Which again, the people on the timeline screaming bearish, yada, whatever. The point that I'm bringing this up is because there was a comment here saying we are bearish because the president, his wife, Malay, and a bunch of other scammers sucked billions of liquidity out of the system. So to recap, there was a Trump coin, there was a Melania coin, the Argentina debacle. We did an entire stream going over the timeline from your tweets. Love for you to go check that back on the, if you're on YouTube, it's probably easiest to find on the live feed. And then you scroll and you'll see like a thumbs down, Dave Portnoy and Malay. It's saying they sucked billions of liquidity out of the ecosystem, right? I don't care about the rest of it. I want to focus on this right here. So we are saying that we're bearish because people that bought into known scam tokens lost their liquidity, right? I want you to change up your thinking a little bit because do we really care that an ecosystem that is probably not going to put funds in anywhere else except what they think is like this fast money, not like, I mean, all these things people knew from like minute one. Yeah, these are probably horrible ideas. There's documents of all these teams that are working on these things. You can find all of this unless you're just not aware. And that's fine. Listen, if you're not aware, that sucks that like you put a bunch of money into that. But we're bearish because a bunch of people that knew they were probably going to get scammed lost a ton of their liquidity that they weren't going to put elsewhere anyway. I don't know. I just think that's a lukewarm take. Justin, SEC drops Uniswap investigation. Very nice. Very nice. Every single day, this thing is posting. Whatever Watcher Guru, whoever runs this account, they're posting positive things every single day. I don't know. I feel relatively positive. Bybit made $423 million yesterday off liquidations. Now you know why Benzo didn't even flinch when the exchange got hacked for $1.4 billion. If you ever think you're crypto rich, you aren't, and Bybit isn't even close to the biggest player. No wonder these big exchanges are cooking. They got some craziness going on. And then back to the point a second ago with like the known scamming component. Crypto finding out that scamming retail investors over and over again was maybe not a good idea. This is just another stupid, dumb take. Like, no kidding. No, I mean, if you walk in here and you go and buy a whole bunch of random celebrity tokens that this guy makes like all of his money off of covering all these celebrities that are scamming and then saying, oh, crypto's finding out that scamming retail investors is kind of bad. These people aren't even in the space for any reason except for like getting rich quick and doing something stupid. Like, what is this take? They're farming yaps. That's all I got to say about it. Okay, maybe not. Maybe not, because this is still happening, and I mean, I'm just going to play the video because this is crazy. So this is Whit. He's from the Spit and Chicklets podcast. If you watch hockey, you'd be familiar with this. If you don't watch hockey, this is probably the biggest podcast that there is out there. And the tweet itself from Viva La Stool says, unbelievable story from Ryan Whitney here. I clicked on it just out of happen chance. You wouldn't know this is entirely about crypto.
Colin came over, who's like kind of been into Bitcoin for a while. Like, he was on the Bitcoin train then. And he was like, hey, you should buy some of this Bitcoin. You should buy some of this Bitcoin. I'm like, I don't know. I was like, all right, fine. At the time, I remember a Bitcoin was like, I want to say it was like $12,000 or like $13,000. And when I went to, I think I had, say, 10 grand or 11 grand. I was like, all right, I'll put this in. And I couldn't get one full Bitcoin. So whatever the price was, I was like $1,000 or $1,500 left being able to buy one Bitcoin. He's like, no, you don't need to buy a full one. Like, you could, like, having 0.8 of a Bitcoin is fine. I was like, no, I need one. Like, I'm just, I don't want like a piece of it. I want one. So he's like, all right, fine. Like, you're not listening to me. He's like, I'm telling you, you're making a mistake, but buy Ethereum. Buy Ethereum. I'm like, all right, dude. At one point, it was like 47 grand, I think, and then it was down to
so your 10 grand or whatever it was had now reached 47 grand. At
one point, it was like right around there, like high up, maybe 42, but it was in the 40s, I remember. And then currently, it was like 33,000 or right around there. I'm very close. I'm not exact on these numbers. Okay. And I'm like, Pasha's like, yeah, Phantom Wallet, crypto, meme coins, blah. I was like, all right, dude, just show me what to do. And I moved over whatever, the 33 grand into the Phantom Wallet. And then, okay, I'm ready to go. He's like, you got to be ready to fire. You got to be ready to fire. You got to be ready to fire. And I'm pulling into the Canton Sportsplex, and my phone rings. Hey, he dropped his coin. He dropped his coin. He dropped it. Let's go, let's go, let's go. So I'm like, I run in. I get rider skates on. I'm like, I'll be right out there. And I'm FaceTiming with this asshole, and I have my screen share on. So we're FaceTiming, but he's looking at my screen. He's telling me what to do. Press this button, buy this, sell this, transfer this. Okay. Boom. I get this greed. It's a greed coin. Like, so mad at him.
So this is so the greed coin is like one of the scam tokens that Dave Portnoy launched. And so there's somebody that connects this guy and is like, yo, you got to go buy this scam coin. But clearly he's just listening, not realizing that it's a scam coin.
I could scream right now, but I got my greed coin. I get on the ice, like they've already started the line skate. I'm like, sorry, boys, I had to use the bathroom. Oh, meanwhile, I was trading meme coins from some asshole named Pasha who taught me how to do it.
The king.
Buddy, I get off the ice. I pull up my Phantom wallet. I got $800. I lost $32,000.
$33,000 lost. And you wonder why we sit here and I'm like, I don't know. I don't really care about meme coins. There's a lot going on. It's just This is the fate of many, so it seems. But that's it for this edition of XFeed. Thank you so much for tuning on in. I hope you guys have had a wonderful time as per usual. If you happen to be joining a little bit late, would love for you to check out the channel. We got a whole bunch of different stuffs in the description down below. If you are on YouTube, again, the RWA Segments podcast. We have a new one out today about tokenized real estate. It's super wild if you're not familiar with that, but of course, have a whole slew of everything for every event. We've covered a lot of things throughout the past year, so we'd love for you to just kind of gander through the channel. But again, thank you so much for coming on through. Roar, have a good night. Harmony, thank you for coming through. Buffalo Space, I was a Buffalo soldier. We got the one and only M. Tolley as well. Unbelievable. Faraz, appreciate coming through. Maddie B, you as well. And if I'm forgetting anybody, well, that's what I call tough. All right, have a good one. Peace.